ladies and gentlemen, I am back again with my favorite opening Karo Khan, and I won this game. Actually, I don't want he resigned, but he loses the game at the end completely. Got the minus 20 at the eval bar, and it was completely losing because then it was mate in 15, mate in 20, and you cannot stop that. Not against average players. So let's start the video. Here is our eval bar. So this is the Karokan. So the first two moves are very simple, e4 and c6. Now here it tries the knight to f3, three knights variation, two knights variation. I goes up with my d5 and he advances the e5. Not bad idea. I just put the bishop on the g4. He put the bishop on the e4, e2, and I closes my pawn chain. Now here my simple idea, developing the knight slowly and then building the attack. But he goes up with the d4, and here I thought that instead of doing this way like bishop or knight to e7 then g6 or f5, I advances the c5. Now this move opens the line for the knight and for the bishop. I can activate my two pieces with this one move. Actually I activated two, and I let him take this pawn because then you have to launch some attack from this side to guard this pawn, because then there is no way you can guard this pawn except the queen or this pawn. He tries to make some pressure on the king side, but I just like block it. I am just developing and blocking is all the attacks at the same time. He gives me check. I blocks with the knight as well as developing the knight and threatening to take this, because once I free up this knight, this is unguarded. Remember, this is unguarded because the knight is pinned. If you move your knight, I'm gonna take your queen. He takes the pawn. I said no worry, I need this knight to go away from here because I want my bishop to develop and as well as I want to castle. So I put my queen on c7, guarding the knight as well as unpinning the knight. He puts the queen a little bit right straight to the straight on the face of the king. I don't know what he was trying to do. I just put the knight on the f5. Now he goes with the h3. Not the bad idea, but what I does was a gangster move. Knight to d4. I got the brilliant move in the game review, and the reason I am attacking the queen, I am attacking a pinning knight, I am attacking a bishop, and I am attacking this pawn, which is a fork, and I can win the rook. So I am attacking 9 5 3 3, 14 and 20 points of material, counting this one, 21 points of material with this one. Of course I am getting only one, but this is how much I am attacking at the one move, just one move, and 21 points of material are just under attack, straightforward, just no move. He takes the knight with the check. I take the bishop. Now I can take it with this way, but I want my pieces to stay connected. In the Karokan, you have to be careful with the pawn chains, and your pawn chain should be strong. Here I am taking this because this is very strong pawn chain. Of course this is an isolated pawn, but this is not the very bad idea because my rook is always guarding this pawn, and I don't need much more stuff. And this pawn is also no more problem for me because this is at the edge of the board. So it's like stuff I can use at the end game to get my lost pieces back to the game. The queen to d3, he moves the queen to the d3, saving the knight, unpinning the knight 2, and saving the fork, and saving the queen. He saves lots of material in the one move, and I takes the knight with the check because I want to ruin his king side. He takes the knight, and I comes back with the attacking on the queen, queen to d2, and I takes the bishop, and now my path for castling is open, and you cannot stop that. He develops the knight, but my move was very simple, just castle and castle. He castle to the queen side. Here this is the only idea which work because the king side is really shattered. I take that free pawn, he attack my queen, and I comes back. Just take the free pawn and coming back. Boom, it's all over. Knight to a4. Now not the bad idea. I can even go here. I can even go here guarding this bishop, but unfortunately there is something I see. I see that the king is on the dark square, and this dark square bishop can help me deliver some checks in the end game or in the middle game. And if he don't get careful, I can even pin this queen and win it in the middle game, because you can see this is in the same diagonal. The queen and the king are both on the same diagonal, so I can just like put it here with some support and no attack on the bishop, and I can win the queen back. So I said not a bad idea, just save the bishop instead of trading it. And also I don't have a knight, so I cannot like go here and shattering some king side and forces him to move and then coming back. I don't have a knight, so just save the bishop. He moves to the h4. I moves the rook here now because I want to go this way. I want to go with the b file attack, but this knight is a problem because this knight is guarding his pawn, and if we don't guard this pawn, if he had somewhere anywhere like not here and not here, then this is the checkmate with this and this. But right now the knight is on the a4. This is the problem. He goes with the f3. I goes queen to b7. Now I was like, I'm gonna do this, but this knight is a problem. Goes rook to g1, and I blocks it. Now I blocks it first because if I do not block it, then I will first get the check, and then I will get boom mated or ruined my own attack. So I first have to block this. He goes with the h5, and now I know that if I capture this, I'm gonna lose my rook with the discovered check. So I did not take the h5 pawn, and I give my bishop on c5. Look at this. If you take this, this is mate. You cannot do anything after taking this because this is mate. The king cannot take the queen because the rook is guarding. So I am completely giving the bishop, but if he ignores the bishop, then the rook is gone. So this bishop attracting the knight to take and threatening the rook to take. He sees both of the things at once, saves the rook on g3, and I moves the queen to b5, attacking the knight as well as clearing some path. He moves the b3, not the bad idea because you need to guard the knight, but with the b3 you allow me to give a check. He goes king to b1, and now here the best thing according to the game review is to take the knight, and of course because this pawn is pinned due to the king is on the b1. But what you can expect from the beginner level player is that I completely misses that this pawn is pinned because of the king, and I can take this knight for free. I completely misses this idea. When I review the game, I noticed that I can easily take this take this knight, sorry, and can attack more. But I just moves the rook to c8 at that point because I don't know that this is also possible. The eval bar is falling, of course, because I misses the way to win the material in the language of game review. He takes the g6 pawn. Now I take with the f pawn. The reason I don't take with this way because I don't want to open the h file. If I open the h file, the queen here, the rook here, and I am in a big trouble because my queen and my the rooks are not in a position to save my king. Sorry. He puts the rook on the h1. As you can see, the eval bar is falling, but I was really worrying about this move because now you need to guard the h7 pawn somehow because your second rook is not so much far from the h3 and your queen is not so much far from the h2, and you are going to witness the attack of the 19 points of material. In the previous video I made the video on a attack with the almost 25 points of material. uh, yeah, it was like just 25 points of material, but here you can see the 19 points of material attacking on the king with the king and two with the queen and two rooks, and it was too deadly. Moves the bishop to e4. Well, just simple attack the queen. Queen moves to h2, and here I was worried about this. That this is going to be a very bad if I did not care, so I just put the b7. I can guard this simple as well. He put the bishop to f6, not the bad, and I goes back bishop to d6. Now I'm going to take this, and then your rook will be pinned. If you move your rook, I'm gonna win your queen, and if you move your queen, I'm gonna win your rook. But he first give me the check, and now I can simply take with this, but then I'm gonna get this h8 check, queen to h8 check, and then he can win my rook. And if I did not get careful, then 19 and 3, 22 points of material. And what I have a rook and a bishop to defend, so not enough material, so I can get mated too if I don't get careful. I takes with the rook. He does this. This move loses the game. The reason is this, and I see this sequence before this move. He was on a 259. He made this move on a 218. So he takes almost 40 seconds, and in those 40 seconds before he makes the move, I predicted this sequence that he's going to sacrifice his rook. I'm gonna take back with the bishop, and at that point I was thinking like f5, but then I see that the f5 move is losing the queen. Then I got the brilliant idea in my brain. I said to myself that if I think this sequence that after taking the rook on the g6 is going to move the f5 and attacking my bishop, why don't he is also thinking the same thing? He maybe think that I'm gonna sack my rook, he gonna take the g6 and I'm gonna move the f5. And not the bad thing, but when I think that the f5 is a deadly move and I think this in 40 seconds, I believe that he had also think that this is the only move at this position, because this pawn is now guarded with the 2 points of two pieces, so why don't attack one of the major piece? And in those thoughts I completely misses that this f4 pawn is guarding the queen. So I also thought, in short, I also thought what he was thinking before making the move, and that's why I let him allow to take my bishop, just because I want his queen. He takes my bishop, I takes his bishop, and now the game is completely losing. This game is now completely losing. You have a rook, a bishop, a knight, and three connected pawns which are still on the back rank. I have a queen, a pair of rooks, and a bishop with three connected pawns and two isolated pawns. What do you think? Who is gonna win? Of course, me. He gives me the check. I move simply to the f7. Now I can simply move here, but I don't want to go up that way because then I'm gonna lose my rook. He goes bishop to d4, and you can see the eval bars jump. When he don't gives me the check, the eval bar was on 7.1. After this check, despite of this is the check, the top engine move was king to f7, the one which I played, and the eval bar goes to 10, 7.1 to 10, and with the bishop to d4, this move doubles the drop of eval bar. Do you know what is the reason? This. Now there is mate in 9 moves, and more important, you are losing your rook. So in just 4 moves, not the 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, consider the 4 moves. So in just 4 moves you loses the game, you loses your queen, you loses your both of the rooks, and you like loses the most of the attacking piece from your side. And what I lose just a bishop for all of your pieces, just a bishop. Imagine losing 19 points of material and getting just a bishop from the opposition. It's completely losing. You are losing this game. You cannot save this game anymore. I am taking this bishop. This pawn will still pin because here you have only this move, and after taking this rook, this pawn is still pinned, and I can even give you a check, and I can then later slowly wins this all pawn 2 pieces, and I can then give you the ladder mate. But before I could do, he has just a 1 minute and 48 seconds left, and he realizes that there is no way he can go in the game, and at the end resigns. Thank you for joining. See you, take care next time.